This is my Easyrider model. Now this particular one is the standard one I do, which is 9.6 by 24 by 3. Now, as you can see, it's got the full-on roundish type nose. It's got a little bit of a point still on the tip, but this is a nose riding machine. Now, you see the rocker? It's exactly the same rocker as my SBB, the high performance shortboard. Difference is the bottom shape. This one has a really massive concave in the nose that runs through to the middle, and a nice V in the middle through to the tail. We'll have a bit more of a look. And you can see the fin there too. It's got an 11-inch deep fin. It's one of our own fins we make. Australian Finco makes them, Australian made, so we'll have a bit of a closer look at that now. Now, I'll start off with the bottom shape. A foot up from the nose, it's got this massive 20mm concave, or 3/4 of an inch. 2 foot up, the concave's still very deep, just under 20mm. And 3 foot up, it's still what a normal concave would probably be, a foot up from the nose, which is about 1/4 of an inch. And we get to the center, and it's dead flat. Now this is what makes this board work so well for nose riding, is that concave we just looked at. But this part here, the V starts from the center. The deepest part is between the center and the tail. And that's where you're normally standing sort of with your feet, which enables it to get on the rail easy. As it goes further back, the V's still there, but it tends to fade out a little bit through the tail. Still there a bit, but not as severe as just up here, because we want it to lay on its rail really easy. Now, as I said, this curve is the same as what's in the SBB, so the trim speed is amazing. Now here's that fin we have. It's an 11-inch Peter fin. Now we make them ourselves. We get them made by Australian Finco to our foil. I sent the foil up to Steve, and then he reproduced it with the template and everything. And we wanted to stick with the clear, polished, and our 3-color logo. We're not scrimping anywhere on these fins, and they're Australian made. So that's something that I'm only putting in our boards now, is top quality fins. Now, this one has the Volan glass job. Now you can see the foil on the board. It's pretty well, not extreme in any way, but that nose concave is where it really starts to happen. And these two side bits where you can see the chime roll off, I'll just get straight edge again. That's actually a good view. You can see how the chime or roll, whatever you want to call it, that sits on the face of the wave. And because it's not too square, that enables it to sit nicely on the wave and not slide down too much. So that's why this is a nose riding machine. Plus all that thickness just here, it's really thin in the middle, because that rail is what actually supports you on the wave. When you in here is pretty well not on the wave, it's the rail. So that's what enables the bigger surfers and people that mightn't be great nose riders to get and hang 10. Okay, that's the thing about this board. It's called the Easyrider. Most of the surfers that have it all say this board is so easy to ride. I know it sounds corny, but that's where it's come about. Now this is actually our biggest seller. We've sold the most of this board than any other board. I think that's because most surfers just want to get out there and have fun, and some of the surfers that have this are actually top level surfers, but it's great for everyone. I know some of the very top surfers, it is so easy to ride, it's not a challenge for them, but most surfers are just in the middle and want to get to hang 10, and that's what this board will do. I'll flip it over, just have a look at the deck. The deck's not as extremely rolled like the SBB, it's just a high rail, what we call my large rail. So in relation to the thickness, it's good proportions, so it's very forgiving. Now it's got the 50, well, it's called a 50-50 rail, but it's actually 60-40 with the edge taken off. I originally did this board with the 50-50 rail, but the moment we made it 60-40 with no edge, which means it qualifies as a log, the performance just went through the roof. Now the video above this board is Rod Surfing Madawi. It's the exact same dimensions as this. It's the green bottom board. There's about 10 minutes of footage of him riding it. So Rod in the video was about 93 kilos. So if you're looking at yourself and wondering how this would go for you, well, looking at Rod, if you're 90 kilos, it'd go well. Now, if you're 80 kilos or a bit lighter, that's when we start to thin it out, 1/4 of an inch, whatever, reduce the width by an inch. So it can be made in proportion to most surface. If you're about, say, 65 kilos, we'd make it 9.2 by 23 by 2 and say 3/4. So the board can be adjusted to the different weights. And if you're a bit heavier, and not everyone's skinny, so let's say you're 135 kilos, and the only thing you think is going to float you is a sup, well no. This, say at 3 1/4, will be perfect because it's that surface area here that makes it so easy to ride. And as well, we're only doing polish finish now. If someone wants the wet and dry, yep, you can get the wet and dry. It's $150 extra for the polish, but it just makes it look top shelf, and that's what we're sort of heading towards with our boards. We want boards that are going to look good after 5 years as the day they were bought.